Hello viewers, welcome to Daily Politics. Tonight on the show, we are joined by Dr. Umar Ardo, the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in the just concluded ADAMAWA governorship election. Despite coming third in the contest, Dr. Ardo has been vocal about his dissatisfaction of the entire process and its conduct. He will share his reasons during the course of our conversation. Welcome to the program, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Yes. I'm your host, Hamza Idris. Welcome to the program once again. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Yes, Doctor, the election has come and gone, specifically that of ADAMAWA. Why are you dissatisfied with the outcome, despite becoming third?
Well, the aim of a contest is actually not necessarily to win, but to participate. But when you are participating, you should participate on the basis of a level playing ground, on a free and a fair election. The election in ADAMAWA was neither free nor was it fair. Now, a free election is an election where the electorate vote their conscience without inducement, without cajoling, without any form of intimidation and so on. It didn't happen like that in Adamawa State. The election basically took two major formats. In the cities, well, when I say cities, I mean the local government, the capital, state capital, yes. And then like in the local government.
Yola
yes,
North, Yola South,
yeah. Mubi, you know, and then the local government headquarters. In these areas, the election was basically a market square.
How do you mean
it was vote vying. They were buying votes like no man business.
You mean openly?
Openly. Everybody will be coming, you know. In fact, it is not just the vote buyers. Surprisingly and sadly too, the voters themselves, they wait to see who will come and pay and how much will
the highest
pay.
Bidder in that region?
So most like that. That's what happened in the cities, in the cities. So by its nature, it wasn't free, because given the endemic poverty that the PDP and APC government over the years have reduced the people of the country, and in fact taking us beyond level of poverty to the level of destitution, people kill for 10 naira, so to speak. So when they are offered 2,000, 3,000, 5,000,
or a wrapper,
or a bag of rice, that is 5 kg bag of rice,
not
or 10 kg bag of rice, which the APC and the PDP candidates had in trailers.
Are you alleging or?
No, I know for a fact.
Okay.
I know for a fact. You know, so people easily sell their votes.
They succumb.
Therefore, they sell their conscience. So they are not voting freely, and they did not vote freely. And in the local, in the villages, the vote buying was there, but it's not as high as those in the local government headquarters. But here is intimidation. The PDP with its own police and thugs.
Because the governor is PDP.
Because the governor is PDP, is controlling the state machinery. Also, he has his own thugs, he has his own, and I've been PDP. I know the violent nature of Adamawa politics within the PDP. I've experienced it 3 times. 3 times. My house was attacked, destroyed at one point. So there, they now coerce the people garrison the area and then do what they wanted to do. Those of us who don't have the talks and who are not even aligned to going this way.
Are you saying you don't have talks? And what about inducement, money to induce the voters?
By the time I finished paying my voters, paying my agents,
which is legal, right?
Yes, all I had was less than 17 million. And it is at that time that the APC and the PDP candidates were coming out with billions.
Billions or millions?
Billions. You know, throughout this election, I've been to each and every local government in Adamawa State. I've been to so many wards in Adamawa State. I have seen virtually each and every stakeholder, every sect of this in the society.
Did you give them money when you visited them?
No, there is a tradition. When you visit people, you give them gifts. What I do is to give cloth or perfume.
Like souvenirs.
Or perfume, yes. Or perfume, or wristwatch, and then my book that I publish on court and politics.
But is that not inducement in your estimation?
Of course, no. This is conventional. This is traditional. And when I go and meet with the traditional rulers, I met with each and every traditional ruler but one in Adamawa State. And that one, 2 times I wanted to meet him. That is His Royal Highness the Murumbula. 2 times I wanted to meet him, but 2 times he was not in. And then 2 times he gave me appointment, and 2 times I was not able to make it. These things happen.
Yeah.
Other than him, I met with each and every traditional ruler in the state. I met with virtually all the religious leaders in the state. I met with virtually all, the associations, Farmers Association, women groups, youth group,
all the stakeholders.
Every stakeholder. I went to the villages and I met with the women, I met with the children. I saw the endemic poverty in Adamawa State. And we sat down with them, we discussed with them, together we formulated our solutions to these problems, and then I extracted from them, commitment of support. Only on election day that the PDP and the APC came up with their own,
format,
onward tactics of vote buying and then inducement and then aggression. So this is what happened in Adamawa, and this is how the election took place in Adamawa. Therefore, I am not surprised that we ended up having PDP and APC fighting each other, cutting the throats of each other.
Now, what happened? What happened on that day? I mean, the first day of collation before the supplementary.
Well, you had my state collation officer had a virtual interview with you.
Yeah.
And he told you exactly, the position of the SDP in the election in Adamawa State. It was as he described it, a naked dance, of shame in the marketplace. That was what happened. These 2 things of inducement, vote buying, and then aggression.
So I am finding it difficult to pin down some of these allegations to specific personalities. For instance, after the main election, that is the first leg, it was the governor who was crying foul. Now, just yesterday, it was Binani who was crying foul. Today, INEC was responding to Binani, saying her claim that INEC officials were compromised during the second segment of the election is unfounded. Where do you belong? You have not been saying anything. Let me use this word.
You see, in the 72 hours before INEC finally took the decision to resume collation, what transpired within these 72 hours? That is, the 3 key things happened. One is the issue of electoral fraud.
Okay.
2 is the issue of bribery. And 3 is the issue of electoral violence. Now, the electoral fraud and bribery is alleged to have been committed by the APC candidate in collusion with some INEC officials in the state. And the bribery and electoral violence is alleged. This one, there is evidence to have been committed by the PDP candidate in the state in a collusion with some, maybe INEC officers or the state security operatives.
Okay, let's start with the APC.
Now,
you said Binani and some INEC officials. Does she have any connection with INEC?
Now,
just a senator, right?
Now, the three key issues of electoral fraud, of bribery, of violence, you have seen all these three. The electoral fraud is the coming of the REC to usurp the duties and responsibilities.
That's hoodoo.
Of hoodoo of the returning officer.
Yeah, Professor Mele.
Professor Mele. And then, without concluding the collation, he now declared her as governor-elect.
So you think he was induced?
And I don't know about...
Because Binani issued a statement that it's not
Wait a minute. Let's analyze it.
All right.
Less than 3 minutes after his declaration that Binani won the election, Binani was holding an acceptance speech. And NTA was there. So what it tells you is this, that it's not coincidence that there is a collusion between the INEC officials.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly, INEC officials. Well, at least you can deduce.
Yeah.
INEC officials, the candidate herself, and then the NTA. Because you cannot hold these things, all these things cannot happen in less than 10, 15 minutes.
There are other reporters from various media houses.
Yeah, okay, so, but why I'm saying NTA is because, you see, first I told you the election was not free, and I explained what I meant.
Yeah.
Now, the election was also not fair. It was not fair in the sense that, first and foremost, the APC candidate.
Yes.
We saw the president,
Buhari.
Yes, make a national broadcast in Hausa, asking the people of Adamawa to go and vote for Binani, and that he had worked with Binani in PTF, and Binani was good, and this and that. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, because it's within his right,
party,
right?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But the fallout of that presidential broadcast is what I have problem with. Because from the moment the president made that broadcast, the entire agencies, federal agencies in Adamawa State tilted towards her.
You are talking about police.
I'm talking
INEC,
about the military.
DSS.
I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about INEC. I'm talking about DSS. I'm talking about Nigeria Broadcasting Commission.
But this is allegation, right? Yeah.
No, they tilted because I was there. I have reasons why.
Okay.
For example, she just made one phone call that in this house they are thumbprinting results and this and that. And that, I think, turned out to be the situation room of the PDP candidate. And within a few minutes after her call, the military was there, the police was there, everybody was there, and they went and found out that.
How did you get the information, Doctor?
It was on the media now.
Yeah.
It was there. I can send you the video clips.
And they raided the place.
They went there, they raided the place.
Following her directive.
Following her, just a simple call. I'll call 1,000 times, I will not get attention of anybody.
So you are saying indirectly she got undue advantage?
Of course, that is one. Two, she met with, I know for a fact she met with INEC officers, in Adamawa State, with regards about 4 different meetings. We held a press conference. I held a press conference on Wednesday the 15th, 3 days to the election. And I brought, these issues. I called for intervention. Nobody listened to me. Nobody even acted. Then 3, 6, almost 7 months after her emergence as a candidate of APC, INEC gave her a contract.
Gave Binani?
Yeah,
contract
her
of
company, what? Binani Printing, a contract of about 430-something million naira to print what? To print governorship result sheets.
But not for Adamawa?
Yeah, not for Adamawa. It's for the other states. But what it means is that she has access to INEC's sensitive materials, and she has access to the workings of INEC in that, and she's also given financial advantage by that contract over and above, the...
Have you raised alarm? Have you spoken to INEC chairman or any other official?
I have raised alarm. I have spoken with INEC leadership, and what the other leadership was just simply saying is what you just said, that Adamawa is not included. Okay, Adamawa is not included. And later, INEC came out, with a press release saying that they went to CAC and checked and then found out that her name was not, in the DC. But I know it is her company. When she opened that company, it's on the news, and it is open in her own name. Then go and check the account of this company. If this account of this company is not, signed by her, let them go and check. The truth is this. Yeah. This has given her financial advantage. But even if it's not, what it means is that INEC has already tilted, towards giving her advantage.
But why is it that you didn't apply to get contract? You're also a Nigerian. You can feel free and apply, doctor.
Well, it's not about me. It's about what happened.
You're talking about integrity.
It is about what happened. It is whether I apply or not. It is another matter. I'm not a printer. I'm not into contract. I've never done any contract. But this is what happened. So the issue of fairness is just not there. Then we are also, when the REC did this declaration.
Who?
The police commissioner was there.
Wow.
The director of SSS was there. And the commandant of the civil defense was there.
That's security apparatus.
Of the federal government. And the previous night, at 1 o'clock, my state collection officer was there. They agreed that we are going to reconvene by 11 o'clock the next day. That by 1, let us go back. We have our Muslim brothers who want to go and do sahur and get ready for tomorrow and so on. So they now disperse, to reconvene by 11. Only by 9 o'clock, 2 hours to the scheduled time, that they reconvene. Now, didn't the police ask questions? Didn't they know that, the collection has been
scheduled or something like that?
But he didn't see the electoral officer. He didn't see the agents of political parties. And that the collection itself was not complete the previous day. So didn't they know that? Didn't they know that there's a fraud being committed?
Is this Binani alone, or you think it's beyond?
I'm not saying it is Binani, but it is in her favor. Maybe they did it without consulting her. I doubt it, but I'm not saying it is her. Now, this is it. Then, the issue of violence. Now, in the issue of violence also they brought about the issue of bribery. Because we saw the Deputy Director of Operations for the DSS, who was malhandled, who was dealt with, and who now said that there was a 2 billion naira, bribe that was given, to somebody.
And that was where we have serious issue up till now. That who were the people interrogating that Deputy Director of DSS?
The deputy.
Have you seen some pointers to say that most likely those interrogating him, are aligned to a certain camp?
It is obviously from the proceedings of the interrogation. You can deduce that it is the governor's talks.
So we are not talking about PDP side now.
No, now it's about PDP side. It is the governor's talks that are doing, and I know for a fact that the chief detail of the governor was leading it. I know for a fact, as we speak now, the chief detail is in detention.
Wow.
So now, and also the director general of the PDP campaign was there and was discussing with Professor Zuru?
Yeah, Professor Zuru, yeah, the national commissioner.
The national commissioner
who went there to supervise.
Who was molested, beaten, in blood, stripped, and so on. You know,
some said he was mistook for Hudu, Ari.
Well, it really does not matter. But if you see the interrogation that took place when the Director General of the PDP campaign, was doing it, he clearly they knew that it was not him. That this is not him. So the talks were insisting that he is a national commissioner. He should still tell them where Hudu is hiding because he is an accomplice to this. So there was no remorse on their part. Now, these two violent, episodes that happened, clearly, it was done by the PDP side.
Now you have indicted both PDP and APC. I remember you issued a statement. Our reporter in Yola
issued a statement calling on INEC that INEC should not conclude the collation, important as it seemed to be, because there is a crime involved in this now.
Was that why you called for the that
they should be disqualified?
But beyond stoppage of collation, you also said that Binani and Fintiri should be disqualified.
Yeah.
Why did you make that?
Because they were involved in these three, criminal episodes, in the electoral fraud, in the bribery issue, and in the violence. So when an issue of this nature is involved, then you should halt any other thing, resolve this first. But INEC failed to do so.
Going by the guidelines.
INEC failed to do so.
Why do you think INEC failed to do that?
I think maybe INEC maybe became jittery that if it didn't do something, that their violence could erupt in the state. And because the PDP people were threatening, and they have demonstrated their threat by dealing with the INEC National Commissioner and then dealing with the SSS officer. So they could make good of their threat. So maybe that blood John INEC, to go and do what they have to do.
It's a national, institution with all the protection it needs.
May be afraid that, a delay from their side may lead to violence and killings and so on in the state. That may be. I'm only making a conjecture.
Yeah.
But my position is that it's wrong for INEC not to have gotten the criminal aspect of this issue resolved first before concluding the civil aspect, which is the collation of result and announcement of candidates. Let us, because if you are involved in this kind of things, you are not worthy to be a leader. You are not worthy to get certificate of leadership.
Some will say your call for the disqualification of the two leading contenders might be self-serving.
Yeah, people will say so, but that you should evaluate the matter on the basis of the facts and the logic of it. People may say, okay, because I came third, I want them disqualified so that I will. In fact, I canvass this position myself, but it is a natural thing that you must take care of criminal issues before you go into other matters.
Civil matters.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to court to challenge the declaration of Fintiri, or you have surrendered?
Well, it's not an issue of surrendering. We are still evaluating the situation. We have gotten our evidences across the state, and we are waiting for the report of the investigations instituted by the DSS. We hope they will give us the result of this. Their findings. If the result of their findings have indicted both the APC and the PDP candidate, and we get hold of that, I can assure you that I will use it to go to tribunal, because it's enough for the tribunal to nullify or disqualify these two people.
Now the votes you got to become the third holder in this election, are you satisfied that, yes, these were your legitimate votes that you got, or you think your votes were suppressed?
No, I have already told you, I got very insignificant votes, and but my votes were consensus votes that were given freely. You know, people voted their conscience based on the belief of our manifesto, of our campaign programs, of what we said we are going to do, you know, for the people, of our interaction with them. It's not based on inducement or based on harassment, cajoling, or whatever. So, and if these ones are disqualified, then all their votes, to use the Supreme Court phrase, are wasted votes.
Yeah.
The small votes that we have, you know, becomes the valid votes now. And by that, it's enough, you know, to declare us, you know, winners, certainly. You know, but let's wait and see. I'm still pushing to see if we will get those
okay. Now my concern is the trading of blame between PDP and APC, and they have dragged INEC indirectly, because just today, as I said, INEC National Commissioner,
I've read it.
Yeah, he was responding indirectly to Binani, who said that even the National Commissioner himself, right, that went to Yola to superintend the declaration of the
that they
final,
went and
that they went to the government house,
and then they were given money. In fact, what I heard in Yola was that they went, they met, and that 2 billion was promised and 1 billion was given, you know, and with...
Apart from the initial 2 billion allegedly given by Binani to...
I don't know whether Binani was said to have given. I didn't hear. You know,
but there was another 2 billion.
But there's 2 billion that I had. I don't know who gave the 2 billion.
Wow.
But there's 2 billion. So that's why I'm telling you that there's issue of bribery involved. So they must, the security apparatus must investigate and come out with this. If not so, you know, it will have far-reaching negative effect, you know, to our electoral process, you know, in now and in the future.
And just yesterday, journalists asked the Minister of Information, Allegation Mohammed, why the silence, the apparent silence at the villa in respect to ADAMAWA. And the reason he gave was that President Buhari is a Democrat and he doesn't interfere with whatever INEC does. Is this convincing, and is the minister right?
But what do you expect, you know, him to say? But what do you even expect the villa to say? I can't understand. What will Villa say? Villa has a position. Villa wants Binani to win. Apparently, Binani did not win. Apparently, Binani went and involved herself in a lot of, you know, untoward activities. And to me, it is even going to be an embarrassing situation for the Villa that's been pushing for her.
So Villa, are you saying that Villa was overwhelmed by the shenanigans that happened?
Well, maybe. I don't want to think for the Villa. But maybe.
Now back to pre-election, you know, in Adamawa. I interviewed you here one time. You said if Binani wins Yola South, that she should be crowned as the governor. But she finally won that Yola South. Meaning that you should give her the few votes you got now.
No. I was saying that under the belief of having a very free and fair election. It wasn't. As I explained to you earlier, it wasn't. I saw where, you know, the governor, Governor Fintiri, is saying that he did not contest against Binani. He contested against powerful forces, you know, in the...
Was he right?
Yeah, you know, I don't want to say whether he's right
or wrong,
or whether he's wrong, but I want you to look at it in this way.
Okay.
It was not even him as a person that contested that election. It was not even Binani as a person that contested that election.
How do you mean, Doctor?
It was the institution of the office of the governor of Adamawa State and the institution of PDP Governors Forum, the institution of PDP National Assembly, Forum, and the financial backers of the PDP, all are coalesced for him.
Wow, on one hand.
On the one hand. On the other hand, it was not Binani as a person. It was the institution of the villa led by the president, the institution of the federal government of Nigeria, institution of the National Assembly, and institution of the APC and their supporters on the other hand that went for this in support of Binani. It is only people like me,
Social Democratic Party,
yes, that contested in our own persons, without any institution behind us, without any backer over or above our heads, without any financial support from any quarters whatsoever, and even on the contrary, being suppressed by those federal institutions to ensure that we do not function. But even at that, we contested this election to the end, went through the entire gamut to the end, and got whatever votes we got, and came out of it with our heads high, because we have fought and concluded a war with the entire these two
powerful structures.
Powerful forces.
These are with the allegations, but I will hold you briefly and we'll go on a break. But when we come back, surely I will ask you more questions on this.
Okay.
Viewers, please don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Inherited a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. You do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. I still have in the studio Dr. Umar Ardo. He's the gubernatorial candidate of the Social Democratic Party in Adamawa State. Before we went on break, you mentioned two big issues. How PDP on one side coalesced into a force and APC on the other side. It appears you still have cold feet towards President Buhari, who, is your man. You've been one of those instrumental to even him joining politics and all that. Why?
No, I really don't have cold feet towards the president, no. And I didn't, participate in his joining politics, but I have said it instrumental to the formation of the APC and his fourth contest that led to his victory.
All the other three, maybe...
I wasn't involved in his first attempt and defeat, in his second attempt and defeat, and in his third attempt and defeat. I wasn't involved in this.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Immediately, if you remember, on the 13th of April 2011, when he was closing his presidential campaign under the CPC, when he broke down and cried, he said that if he lost that election, 2011 would be his third and final time. He will not contest again.
Yeah, this is on record.
Yes, it's on record. But he contested again in 2015.
Why?
The answer is me.
You, Dr. Ardo?
Yes, the answer is me. It was I, out of patriotism. Because, look, I'm from Adamawa State.
Yes.
Adamawa State is one of those states that was ravaged by insurgency.
Yes.
From 2010, 2011, up to the declaration of a state of emergency in 2012.
I know that very well, being the bureau chief of our newspaper.
Thank you. And I felt that we ought not to be in that situation. And because first, President Buhari was a governor of Northeastern states, so he would obviously have a very good insight in the Northeastern state societies. Two, he was head of state, and during this period, he was a nonsense leader. He war against indiscipline and fight against corruption and so on. Then, by then we were in our final year in the university, so we were endeared, towards, disposed towards, such kind of leadership. And besides, my national hero in the country, in leaders, is late General Murtala Muhammad. And Buhari was a member of the Murtala Muhammad regime. He was, as a governor, he was a member of the Federal Executive Council regime of the Murtala Obasanjo regime when Obasanjo took over power.
But what gave you the confidence?
Then he was also a GOC.
Yeah.
In that area, and he was reputed, very critical, he was reputed to have, chased Chadian rebels out and up to Chad. So, and he was in politics. He contested 3 times, and 3 times he was having, coming second with the large, vote of about 12 million.
And that's why I'm saying, okay, what gave you hope that when he promised that he would not go for it, do you have the magic wand that time that, okay, if something is done, that he will make it?
I believe that if I presented to him,
yes,
a strategy that is convincing, he will accept.
Okay, what strategy?
And now I said, sir, you've contested 3 times and you lost. And you said, and you always get about 12 million votes. You were being defeated by about 15 million votes. Now, the reason why you've always lost is because you have never won any zone in the South. If you can win any zone in the South, any zone in the South, you will have the majority votes, and then you will have the required spread. The South will not go for you because they won't leave Jonathan and go to you.
Yeah.
The Southeast will not go for you. Ideologically, you are at par. And also, you have taken their sons 2 times. You did not get it. But the Southwest can go for you.
This is what you told him?
Yes, that the Southwest can go for you. Because the Southwest, we have, cultural affinity and identity. We have Obas and we have Emirs, they have Obas. We have Muslim Christian, they have Muslim Christian. But most importantly, they are organized with a political leader in the person of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
You mean that you told him to go and meet Tinubu?
Certainly. When I said, if you can get Tinubu to be your vice presidential candidate, that you do a merger of CPC and ACN to form ACPC, Action Congress for Progressive Change. If you can get Bola Tinubu to accept to this merger, and then you make him the vice presidential candidate, for that, let him just deliver the Southwest.
You mean you proposed to Buhari to make Tinubu?
Of course.
Meaning that this issue of Muslim ticket has been there for a very long time.
It will always win. Look, it doesn't really matter. If you even do Christian,
yeah,
if you can win the South and get one zone in the North, any zone in the North, whether it is Christian, you have won the election.
Wow.
Whether it is Muslim, you won the election. The idea is to get, votes, win your region and then get one zone from the South.
But Jonathan was very powerful that time.
See, I said, if you can do that, if you can get Tinubu, give him the vice presidency. And what Tinubu's declaration in Abeokuta the other time, when he was, is it. Me, I know for a fact.
He was venting his anger.
Yeah, that,
because of that promise.
Yes, so.
Is it that Buhari assured that he will give him the vice presidential candidate?
Yeah. He said, after I convinced him. So when I convinced him, he said, okay, I'll talk with Tinubu and I'll get back to you. In the meantime, I was to go and write the blueprint for the formation of the APC, of the ACPC.
ACPC,
yeah. And about 5 weeks later, my phone rang. It was his PA, Abbasarki. He said, General wants to see you. We meet in Abuja. And I flew in and I came to Abuja and we met, and he told me I met with Tinubu and Tinubu has agreed. But Tinubu has made some changes, because I was insisting that let it just be CPC and ACN. Don't worry about ANPP. Because with or without ANPP, you have always won. Who are the ANPP guys? Ali Modu Sharif. You have always won Borno with or without Ali Modu Sharif. Shekarau, you have always won Kano, even when Shekarau was a sitting governor and a presidential candidate of the ANPP. Yerima Bakura, you have always won Zamfara, even when Bakura was a sitting governor. Then Bafarawa, you have always won Sokoto, even when Bafara was a sitting governor and a presidential candidate of his Abarba party. DPP. So you don't need to worry yourself about that. Just if you can get the Southwest, you have won the election. And the only person that can give you the Southwest is Tinubu. And if you can give Tinubu vice presidential candidate, he will succumb. He will agree. He will, President Buhari was a little bit, hesitant because he was saying that, look, we've tried to do this merger just a few weeks or so ago, and it failed. And Tinubu went into alliance with PDP.
Yeah, and he was referring to 2011.
2011, he delivered, PDP, Southwest to PDP. I said that alliance has collapsed. It has collapsed on the ground with the removal of Justice Salami as the president of the Court of Appeal. Now, Salami is considered in the Tinubu cycle as a progressive judge. Why? Because of the 6 ACN governors.
Yeah.
4 were given to him by the tribunal. Only 2, Lagos and Ogun, that were given to him by INEC. So Salami was seen as a progressive person, and when we went to tribunal, because I led the entire tribunal. If you read my book, Court and Politics, read chapter 7 of that Court and Politics. It has treated this aspect, comprehensively. When we went to tribunal, Justice Salami now ordered forensic analysis of the ballot papers. It was 100% certain they would have annulled the 2011 presidential election. So what did PDP do? PDP, we went to INEC. INEC brought in their forensic experts. PDP brought in their forensic expert. CPC brought in the forensic expert. I brought the forensic expert for the CPC. And when they saw what will happen, the facts, they said, look, this thing is science. It doesn't lie. So what to do? The only thing is to reverse that order. And they tried Salami to reverse the order. Salami declined. So they promoted Salami to go to Supreme Court, if you remember. Salami refused. Then, within a short period of time, the case with Kazina Alu and Sokoto governorship, and before you knew it, Salami was gone. Now, the removal of Salami, as far as my analysis was concerned, broke the alliance between Tinubu and the PDP. So I explained that to General Buhari, that, look, this alliance is dead and this is the reason of it. So if you approach the man, he will accept.
And he accepted.
And so he now, after 5 weeks, I was called and then we met with him. He said to me, Doctor, I met the man has accepted. And so we go ahead.
And he was able to win. But because we don't have time, fast forward, you can see it was a rough drive for Tinubu to get to the presidency.
Well,
why do you think so?
Well, it's a rough drive for me too, to be out of the regime. So that's not for me. So that is another matter, altogether.
Which
but
I hope to bring you back to.
Yeah, but one thing I am confident in is that I believe that Tinubu will do well. I believe so, strongly. And for that, he should avoid certain things, certain missteps of his predecessor.
That is Buhari.
Yes, one, he should inaugurate the National Assembly by himself. One of the basic problems that Buhari faced was the National Assembly in 2015. And the major reason why he had this problem was he just wrote his inaugural speech and sent it to them and did not physically go there, to go and inaugurate.
Does it make any difference?
There's a whole lot of difference, and I can explain to you maybe some other day.
Yeah, some other day, yeah.
Yes. Then two, in his appointment of his ministers and advisors and public servants, he should put in square pegs into square holes. People of capacity, people of knowledge, people of integrity, and people of patriotism. Then he should, I've written something that one of these days, I will release.
But he can only do this if he escapes the turbulence ahead.
There is no turbulence. What is the turbulence?
PDP in court, Atiku. Labour Party in court,
Yeah. You see, I don't know what will be the outcome of that, but legal luminaries have spoken. And they have spoken, on the basis of the weak, grounds, advanced by both candidates at the tribunal. I don't know whether the tribunal, but I do not foresee where the tribunal would upturn the apple cart and say that APC did not win. Because from my analysis that I did, I knew that APC was going to win that election fair and square. I knew it up initial. I have written over it.
So all the outcry is...
All the outcry is just hot water, hot air.
But INEC, which conducted this election, finally, is more or less at the receiving end now. Why do you think so? Is it that because Professor Yakubu is not talking? Is it that the recruitment process in INEC, or where is the problem?
No, you see, I have confidence in INEC's chairman's knowledge, intellect, and hard work. I do have confidence in that. I know that he has done his best in it. You see, there is no election in Nigeria since independence that has not been, no election result that has not been contested.
So this one cannot be an exception. So this one is, Yakubu as a historian, he knows that, so he shouldn't worry himself. Some say he's already depressed. Some people are saying he's depressed because of the outpowering of criticism.
No, he's not depressed. He is overwhelmed, by these things. But he's not depressed, I can assure you on that. He's not.
All right. We have to draw the curtain now because, of course, so many things to discuss, but we have to have you again. Dr. Umar Arro, gubernatorial candidate of Social Democratic Party in Adamawa State. We thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you, Hamza.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's edition. Hope you join us tomorrow for another interesting package. For now, bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.